see. Hey, Mina. How you doing? Hey, Liz. Hi, my name is Mom, and I work in a mommy factory. One day, my boss came up to see me and said, Mom, are you busy? I said, yes. That's my new song. I did have my baby. She is 2 months and a little over a week. Yeah. Something like that. Wait, no. Is that right? Yeah, I guess that's sort of right? She's like almost 9 weeks old. Is she almost 9? Is she 9 weeks old? She might be 9 weeks old. She's over 9 weeks old. Oh my goodness. This is your first time seeing the baby? Oh. Well, she's with us every morning. She does book club with us every morning. That's right. She loves to be read to. It is true. Thought she was 4 weeks. No. There's no way she could be 4 weeks now. Hey, Victoria. No. She is solidly almost 9 weeks, or is 9 weeks. She is 9 weeks. She's 9 weeks. Yeah. Be a huge 4-week baby. Actually, it wouldn't be a huge 4-week baby. That's the crazy thing, Victoria. Her cousin was born this size. My sister was born this size. So, I mean, it would be crazy for me. My grandbaby just started walking. That's exciting. Oh my goodness, those little tiny feet and the little wobbly legs. I love it. Yeah, some babies are born this size, which is crazy. Not mine. Mine was not born this size. She was born like half this size. But still, it does happen. Because she's just getting to 11 pounds now. My sister was 12 pounds when she was born. Here's something funny. My mom told me last time she was here that when my aunt came to meet my sister for the first time, and she was like a day or two old, my aunt looked at my mom and said, "How old is this baby?" Because she was 12 pounds. I know. Well, she was born 6 pounds, Victoria, so I'm right there with you. It felt gigantic, but her closest age cousin was over 10 pounds when she was born. So she was this size at birth. Yeah, not mine. Mine was this size at 9 weeks. Morning soft, but anyway, it's still funny. Hi, my name is Mom, and we work in a mommy factory. One day, my boss came up to me and said, Mom, are you busy? I said, no. So they said, push this button with your left hand. People thought I was a sick baby in the nursery because I was 9 pounds. Wow. 9 pounds, yeah. Both my daughter and I were 6 pounds at birth. So we were small babies. Almost average. Morning, Jen. Hi, my name is Mom, and I work in a mommy factory. One day, my boss came up to me and said, Mom, are you busy? I said, yes. And they said, push this button with your left hand. Yes, she does love looking out the window. She does. She's a big fan. Big fan. No matter where we are, what window we're at, she wants to flush it. Come on, let's see out of there. That's right. Hi. My name is Mom. 7 pounds 14, 3 weeks early. Wow. So you would have been probably 9, or at least 8.5, right? My tiny 10 pounds. Your poor daughter. Oh my gosh. My sister-in-law who had the 10+ pound baby is a much taller woman than I am. So she said it wasn't so bad for her. They were saying almost 10 if you went to term. Yeah, that makes sense, Susan. That's what I was thinking. Because 3 weeks early and you're almost 8 pounds already. Jeez Louise, yeah. Yes. Coffee for Dada. Coffee for Mama. Let's do a little. Ember was 6'12" at 5 weeks early. Oh wow, she was 6'3" at 3 weeks early. So they were not quite the same, Victoria, but similar. What happened? Let's talk about it. What's that cough for? Yeah? Yeah, she was 3 weeks early, and she was 6 and 3. Yeah. So I imagine if she'd been 5 weeks early, gosh, I guess she would have been like 4.5 or 5 pounds. Right? I don't know. You would have been a little widow thing, huh? Yeah. Really? Really? Tell me more. Hey, Cindy. Hi. 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 We're dancing. We're dancing. We're dancing. Do we want to go to sleep? Do we want to go to sleep? It sounds like a good time for some sleep, because we didn't sleep very much last night. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. The video of her little son. I know, isn't it so cute? She makes the best little sounds. We would love to go to sleep. I know, we would love to go to sleep. We're not sure about this one. Okay, let's see. Let's see. The sun will come out tomorrow. At your bottom dollar, that tomorrow. Oh, good burp. There'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow clears away the cobwebs and the sorrow till there's none. She's wide-eyed. This is not working. Not working. When I'm stuck with a day that's gray and lonely, I just stick out my chin and grin and say, sleepy time? No? Hey, Alyssa. Alyssa, you're on the list for today to make that French fry slime finally. This young lass, let's talk about what's going on right now. So she just ate for about 20 minutes, which is good. That's normal for her. But right now she is licking my shirt. She's licking it like this. As if to say, what's under there, Mom? What's under there? And I say to her, it's nap time. Patreon won't let you DM me. That's weird. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I assume she's a Slytherin because her mom and dad are both Slytherins, but, you know, other than that, no. Okay, are we gonna go read? But I'd love for you to sleep. I would love, love, love for you to sleep. Victoria, you can email me if I don't remember to DM you. Ember does that, but she's on formula. Really? How interesting. Well, this one does it and she's not on formula, so maybe it's just a thing they do. Oh, the book's in the way of my cup thing. What's the cup thing called? Coaster. That's what it's called. It's called a coaster. All right. Don't you want to sleep, sweetheart? We are Slytherin. What are you, Cindy? Are you not? Maybe she's just testing out her tongue and textures. Yeah, she could be. She could very well be. I am... You're a Ravenclaw. That makes a lot of sense, actually. That makes a lot of sense for you to be a Ravenclaw, yes. I am fully Slytherin. So is my sister. Yes. Are you telling me you want to go in your bouncy? Is that what you're trying to say? You want out and to go in the bouncy? Okay. I think you did get filtered, Sophie. What were you saying? I'm Ravenclaw, my godson's Hufflepuff, and everyone else I know is Slytherin. That's funny. Okay, you can go on your bouncer. That's fine. Mommy's not gonna stop you. I know you love it. Talking about your Monstera got you filtered. That's silly. That's silly. We have a Monstera and we love our Monstera, huh? She says, Mom, I didn't approve sitting. That's right. She doesn't want to be seated. She wants to, oh, we're bouncing. Oh, big yawn. Big yawn bouncing. Yes, Slytherin. I'm not in the house today. Maybe the word TR. Oh, really? You think the word trim? I mean, maybe. Hey, Mom. Don't worry. The baby is here. She's just in the bouncer. Don't worry. She's not gone. I know that grandmas can get concerned when they see a mother without their child. All right. All right, all right. So, she does have socks on, actually. I can prove it to you. Look at this. I will prove to you that this child, hold on. I'm gonna prove socks before we get started with reading. I'm gonna prove that there are socks on my child. Hold on, I'm gonna flip the camera. Let's see if I can do it. Socks. You see them? There they are. 1, 2, bless you, socks. Proof in the moment that there are socks on this child. Yes, she is wearing socks today. Something about boomers, they really think that all children need to wear socks. We're inside. It's 70 degrees in here and we live in Southern California. I think she'd be fine either way. It's not like it's cold. So they're taking her first birthday. She did? Oh, yeah. I don't know. I was thinking we might do it at the 9 3/4 thing. I don't know. We'll see. My never has socks on. It's better when they're learning to walk. Yes, that is exactly true for traction. That's exactly right. But I pinched off a small amount of my favorite slimes to bring to the office too. I used to do that. I used to take little bits every day so that I wouldn't risk killing one too soon. Yeah, let the toesies out. The only reason I have socks on her right now is because it was a little chilly last night and these are socks left over from last night, but I wouldn't have put them on this morning. But they are leftover sockies from last night when it was chilly. Bless you. Grandma wants you to have socks. She went like this. Grandma wants you to wear socks. Say, I am wearing socks, Grandma. You just saw it. I wish I could slime while driving. I also wish I could slime while driving. I've slimed while being in the passenger seat. Does that count? I'm not physically driving, but I'm in the car being driven. I've done that multiple times, especially on long trips. That I've definitely done. Slime and drive. I would slime at a drive-in. I only wear socks when I have to put on shoes. Yes. The only time I wear socks when I have to wear clothes to. Yes, that seems to be the consensus for us millennial folk. I don't know what it is. All right. Sometimes butter slime while driving. I know. Listen. I'm not gonna say a word. Shall we continue? Me too, and Garrett hates it because he can't say most of the smells. But not mine, right? Just humor me, Mina, and pretend he loves all the smells of mine, except for gasoline. I'll let that one go. Shouldn't have the gasoline one in the car, probably. Okay, so before I get started, in case anyone has to dip, don't forget tonight is Roll for Slime April Fools. It's got some wild stuff happening in it. It should be a lot of fun. Did you lose the baby? Yes. I've lost her to the bouncer. She wants only the bouncer and not me right now. So, I'm so opposed to shoes without socks. Yeah, no, I couldn't wear sneakers barefoot. He actually doesn't hate gasoline. Oh. If somebody wore my sneakers barefoot, I also wouldn't want them back. I'm not gonna lie. Yucky. Yuck. I'm not into it. I'm not gonna lie. Big not into that. So Roll for Slime April Fools is this evening. The watermelon grab bag last month, current fave. We'll not talk about the additional order. That's funny. Don't talk about it. I hope I can make the live tonight. I was like, well, these are yours now. Yeah, the live tonight should be really fun. Even if you're not getting a slime, I think it's gonna be funny to watch. I've planned some silly things that I hope everyone will love. And there's also, okay, I'm gonna tell you something. This is kind of a spoiler, kind of not. But there is one charm that I have like 5 of, so only a couple people can get it. But there is a charm that you will not know the full weight of until it arrives to you.
And I don't mean weight like heaviness, I mean like emotional weight of the charm until it arrives to you. You'll be able to see it on the live, but you won't know what it really is. It's like it's a special charm that when it gets to you, I'm so mad I got by Slumu today because I didn't realize it was April 1st. Wait, you went by there in person, or you got your package from them? Which one? Wait. I don't know which. And then we will read. I just want, they tricked you. Oh, you got got. Oh, you got got. What did they say? I didn't see it. Tell us everything. Oh, edible slime. Oh, yeah. That's funny. They April Fooled you. That's funny. See, okay, but I gotta tell you, like, some April Fool's jokes are harmful. Like, people do the, like, fake pregnancy thing and, like, somebody passed away thing. Those are edible slime. I'm actually okay with that one. I'm okay with an April Fool's joke that's edible slime. I think that that's a good one. I'm gonna let them have that one because that doesn't hurt anyone in the long run. You feel got, but it doesn't actually hurt you, right? So that's okay. I'm okay with this one. I'm gonna let that one go. Some April Fool's jokes are really mean. That one's not that mean. That one's okay. I'm gonna give them a high five from afar. I didn't know it happened, but I'm okay with it. Yeah. Nugget Couch almost got me with the crochet covers. What, I didn't see that one. Hello to Philly. My sister-in-law is from Philly. It only hurts if they actually eat it. Ooh, yeah, no, that wouldn't be good. My local comic book store said they were no longer selling comics today. That's funny. And you're like, bro, be for real. Be so for real with me right now. What are you gonna sell if you don't sell comics? What are they gonna sell? You've never been to a comic book store. Are you excited to go to a comic book store? Are you so excited? Yeah? Sink sprayer. That's funny. The funny ones are good. Our stuff tonight is gonna be just silly, you know? I think you'll like it. Okay. But let's read. So we are on chapter 8. Hey, Reagan, we are on chapter 8 today. We're changing our names. This will no longer be selling comics. That's funny. Chapter 8. And we continue. The baby's in her bouncer. She's right here. I can see her just right there. Hey, Amanda, we haven't even started reading it. You came in perfect time. We're about to read chapter 8. Yeah, I hope you just got out of your meeting. Yes, you did. Good timing. We were chit-chatting about April Fool's stuff, so you made it. As I stride towards the elevator, I fling my bow to one side and my quiver to the other. I brush past the gaping Avoxes who guard the elevators and hit the number 12 button with my fist. The doors slide together and I zip upward. I actually make it back to my floor before the tears start running down my cheeks. I can hear the others calling me from the sitting room, but I fly down the hall to my room and I bolt the door and fling myself onto my bed. And then I really begin to sob. Now I've done it. Now I have ruined everything. If I'd stood even a ghost of a chance, it vanished when I sent that arrow flying at the game makers. What are they going to do to me now? Arrest me? Execute me? Cut my tongue out and turn me into an Avox so that I can wait on future tributes of Panem? What was I thinking? Shooting at the game makers? Of course I wasn't thinking. I was shooting at that apple because I was so angry at being ignored. I wasn't really trying to kill any of them because if I were trying to kill them, they'd be dead. Oh, what does it matter? It's not like I was going to win the games anyway. Who cares what they do to me? What really scares me is what they might do to my mother and Prim and how my family might suffer because of my impulsiveness. Will they take their few belongings or send my mother to prison and Prim to the community home? Or will they kill them? They wouldn't kill them, would they? Why not? What do they care? I should have stayed and apologized or laughed like it was a big joke. Then maybe they would have found some leniency, but instead I stalked out of the place in my most disrespectful manner possible. Yeah. Hamish and Effie are knocking at my door. I shout for them to go away, and eventually they do. It takes at least an hour for me to cry myself out, and then I just lie curled up on the bed, stroking the silken sheets and watching the sun set over the artificial candy capital. At first, I expected the guards to come for me, but as time passes, it seems less and less likely. I calm down. They still need a girl tribute from District 12, don't they? And if the game makers want to punish me, then they can do it publicly. Wait until I'm in the arena and then 6 starving wild animals on me. You can be sure that they'll make sure I don't have a bow or an arrow to defend myself. Before that, though, they'll give me a score so low that no one in their right mind would want to sponsor me. That's what's going to happen tonight. Since the training isn't open to viewers, the game makers announce a score for each player. It gives the audience a starting place for betting that will continue throughout the games. The number, which is between 1 and 12, 1 being irredeemably bad and 12 being unattainably high, signifies the promise of a tribute. The mark is not a guarantee of which person will win. It's just an indication of the potential the tribute shows in training. Often because of the variables of the actual arena, high-scoring tributes go down almost immediately. And a few years ago, the boy who won the games only received a 3. They're coming to get her. What do you think, sweetheart? Someone's getting drowsy, someone's getting drowsy, someone's getting drowsy, it is you. Yeah. Drowsy, drowsy baby. After reading the new, I know, right? I was just thinking about that. After reading the newest book, this section right here really hits home differently. That's right. It hits differently. Yeah, I didn't know how to say it. I thought that was coming out of you. I'm like, whoa, Sasha's sounds have elevated. I have elevated to being able to do certain sounds. She would never commit a crime. We talked about this early on, remember, Sloth? We talked about not committing crimes. We don't do that in this household. No, no, no. Will mommy cover for you? Yes. Does she want to? No. Okay. Still, the scores can help or hurt an individual tribute in terms of sponsorships. I've been really hoping my shooting skills might get me a 6 or a 7, even if I'm not particularly powerful. And now I'm sure I'll have the lowest score of all 24. And if no one sponsors me, my odds of staying alive are decreased to almost 0. Hey, Isabella, we just barely started. When Effie taps on the door to call me to dinner, I decide that I might as well go. The scores will be televised tonight, and it's not like I can hide what happened forever, so I go to the bathroom and I wash my face, but it's still red and splotchy. Everyone's waiting at the table, even Cinna and Portia. I wish the stylists hadn't shown up because for some reason I don't like the idea of disappointing them. It's as if I've thrown away all the good work they did on the opening ceremonies without a thought. I avoid looking at anyone as I take tiny spoonfuls of fish soup. The saltiness reminds me of my tears. Hey, Tana. The adults begin some chit-chat about the weather forecast, and I let my eyes meet Peta's. He raises his eyebrows. A question? What happened? I just give my head a small shake, and then, as they're serving the main course, I hear Hamish say, "Okay, enough small talk. Just how bad were you today?" Peta jumps in. I don't know that it mattered. By the time I showed up, no one even bothered to look at me. They were singing some kind of drinking song, I think. I don't know. So I threw around some heavy objects until they told me that I could go. That makes me feel a bit better. It's not like Peta attacked the game makers, but at least he was provoked too. All right. And you, sweetheart? Says Hamish. And somehow, oh, what time is it? 8:54. Liz, can you oh, nope, just kidding. Her eyes are open. I thought she was asleep. Sorry. Somehow, Hamish calling me sweetheart ticks me off enough that at least I am able to speak. I shot an arrow at the game makers. Everyone stops eating. You what? The horror in, sorry. You what? The horror in Effie's voice confirms my worst suspicions. I shot an arrow at them. Well, not exactly at them. In their direction. It's like Peta said, I was shooting over there because they were ignoring me, and I don't know why I lost my head, so I shot the apple out of their stupid roast pig's mouth. I say defiantly. Oh, she is asleep. Liz, can you text me 8:54 so I don't forget to mark her nap? Oh, she's totally asleep. Yes. And, what did they say? Says Cinna carefully. Nothing, or I don't know, because I walked out after that, I say. Without being dismissed? Gasps Effie. I dismissed myself, I said, and I remember how I promised Prim that I would really try to win. Welcome back, Victoria. And I feel like a ton of coal has dropped on me. Well, that's that then, says Hamish, and then he butters a roll. Do you think they're going to arrest me? I ask. Doubt it. Be a pain to replace you at this stage, Hamish says. What about my family? I say. Will they punish them? No, don't think so. Wouldn't make much sense. See, they'd have to reveal what happened in the training center for it to have any worthwhile effect on the population. People need to know what you did, but they can't say that because it's a secret, so it'd be a waste of effort, says Hamish. More likely, they'll just make your life hell in the arena. Well, they've already promised to do that to us anyway, says Peta. Very true, says Hamish. And then I realize the impossible has happened. They've actually cheered me up. Hamish picks up a pork chop with his fingers, which makes Effie frown, and he dunks it in his wine. He rips off a hunk of meat and starts to chuckle. All right, so what were their faces like? I wanted to make sure she was still breathing. Is that ridiculous? She's still breathing. She's fine. She's making noises now. She's going like this. So, I assume she's still breathing because, you know, yeah, good breathing, honey. I can feel the edges of my mouth tilting up. They were shocked, terrified, ridiculous, some of them. An image pops into my mind. One man tripped backward into a bowl of punch. Hamish guffaws, and we all start laughing, except for Effie, although even she suppressing a smile. Well, it serves them right. It's their job to pay attention to you, and just because you come from District 12, it's no excuse to ignore you. And then Effie's eyes dart around as if... Oh, sorry, that was Effie speaking, sorry. Well, it serves them right. It's their job to pay attention to you, and just because you come from District 12 is no excuse for them to ignore you. And then her eyes dart around as if she said something totally outrageous. I'm sorry, but that is what I think, she says to no one in particular. I'll get a very bad score, I say. Scores only matter if scores only matter if they're very good. No one pays attention to the bad or mediocre scores. For all you know, you could be hiding a talent to get a low score on purpose. People do use that strategy, says Portia. Hope that's how people interpret the 4 that I'm probably going to get, Peeta says. If anything less impressive than watching a person pick up a heavy ball and throw it a couple of yards. One almost landed on my foot. I grinned at him, and I realized that I'm starving, so I cut off a piece of pork and I dunk it in the mashed potatoes and I start eating. It's okay. My family's safe, and if they're safe, then no real harm's been done here. After dinner, we go to the sitting room to watch the scores announced on television. First, they show a photo of the tribute, and then they flash their score below it. The career tributes naturally get an 8 to 10, or in that range. Most of the other players get an average of 5. Surprisingly, little Rue comes up with a 7. I don't know what she showed the judges, but she's so tiny that it really must have been impressive. District 12 comes up last, as usual, and Peeta pulls an 8, so at least a couple of game makers must have been watching him. I dig my fingernails into my palms as my face comes up, expecting the worst. They're flashing numbers on the screen, and the number 11 comes across the screen. 11. Effie Trinket lets out a squeal, and everybody's slapping me on the back and cheering and congratulating me, but this doesn't seem real. No, there must be a mistake. How could that happen? I ask Hamish. Oh, guess they liked your temper, he says. They've got a show to put on. They need some players with some real heat. Katniss, the girl who was on fire, says Cinna, and he gives me a hug. Oh, wait until they see your interview dress. More flames? I ask. Of a sort, he says mischievously. Peeta and I congratulate each other. Another awkward moment. We've both done well, but what does that mean for each other? I escape to my room as quickly as possible, and I burrow down under the covers. The stress of the day, particularly the crying, has worn me out, and as I drift off, relieved, with the number 11 still flashing behind my eyelids. But at dawn, I lie in bed for a while, watching the sun come up on a beautiful morning. It's Sunday, a day off at home. I wonder if Gale is in the woods yet. Usually we devote all of Sunday to stocking up for the week, rising early, hunting and gathering, and then we trade at the Hob. And I think of Gale there without me. Both of us can hunt alone, but we're better as a pair, particularly if we're hunting for big game, but also the littler things. Having partner lightens the load. It could even make the arduous task of filling my family's table kind of enjoyable. I'd been struggling along for about 6 months alone before I first ran into Gale in the woods. It was a Sunday in October. The cool air was pungent and with dying things, and I'd spent the morning competing with the squirrels for nuts and slightly warmer afternoon wading in shadows of ponds and harvesting Katniss. The only meat that I'd shot was a squirrel that I had practically run over with my toes in its quest for acorns. But the animals would still be afoot when the snow buried my other food sources. Having strayed farther afield than usual, I was hurrying back home, lugging my burlap sack, when I came across a dead rabbit. It was hanging by its neck with a thin wire about a foot above my head. About 15 yards away, there was another one, and then I recognized the twitch-up snares because my father had used them. When prey is being caught, it's yanked into the air out of reach of other hungry animals. I'd been trying to use snares all summer with no success, so I couldn't help but dropping my sack to examine this one. My fingers were just on the wires above one of the rabbits when a voice rang out and said, "That's dangerous." I jumped back several feet as Gale materialized from behind a tree. He must have been watching me the whole time. He was only 14, but he cleared 6 feet and was good as an adult to me. I'd seen him around the seam and at school, and one other time he'd lost his father in the same blast of the mines that killed mine. In January, I stood by while he received his Medal of Valor in the Justice Building, just another oldest child with no father. I remembered his 2 little brothers clutching his mother, the woman whose swollen belly announced that she was just days away from giving birth again. "Hey, what's your name?" he said, coming over and disengaging the rabbit from the snare. He had another 3 hanging from his belt. "Katniss," I said, barely audible. "Well, Catnip, stealing is punishable by death, or hadn't you heard that?" he said. "Katniss," I said louder, "and I wasn't stealing. I just wanted to look at your snare. Mine never catch anything." He scowled at me, not convinced. "All right, so where'd you get your squirrel then?" "I shot it." I pulled my bow off my shoulder. I was still using the smaller version that my father had made for me, but I'd been practicing with the full-size one when I could. I was hoping that by spring I might be able to bring down some bigger game. Gale's eyes fastened on the bow. "Hey, can I see that?" I handed it over. "He just remembers stealing's punishable by death." That was the first time I ever saw him smile. It transformed him from someone menacing to someone you wished you knew, but it took several months before I returned that smile. We walked and talked hunting then. I told him I might be able to get him a bow if he had something to trade. Not food, I wanted knowledge. I wanted to set my own snares that caught a beltful of rabbit one day, and he agreed that something might be worked out. As the seasons went by, we grudgingly began to share our knowledge, our weapons, our secrets, places that were thick with wild plums or turkeys. He taught me to snare and how to fish, and I showed him what plants to eat and eventually gave him one of our precious bows. And then one day, without either of us saying it, we became a team, dividing the work and the spoils, making sure that both of our families had food. Gale gave me a sense of security that I had lacked since my father's death. His companionship replaced the long solidarity in the hours of the woods. I became a much better hunter when I didn't have to look over my shoulder constantly, and then when someone was watching my back. He turned out to be so much more than a hunting partner, though. He became my confidant, someone who I could share thoughts with that I never voiced inside the fence. In exchange, he trusted me with his. Being out in the woods with Gale, I don't know, sometimes I was actually happy. I called him my friend, but in the last year it seemed too casual of a word for what Gale is to me. A pail of longing shoots through my chest. If only he was with me now, but of course I don't want that. I don't want him in the arena where he'd be dead in a few days. I just miss him. I hate being so alone. Does he miss me? He must miss me. I think of the 11 flashing under my name last night. I know exactly what he would say to me. "Well, there's some room for improvement there." "Hi, sweetheart." "Oh, good morning." And then he'd give me a smile, and I'd return it without hesitation now. I can't help comparing what I have with Gale to what I'm pretending to have with Peeta, how I never question Gale's motives while I do nothing but doubt the latter's. It's not a fair comparison, really. Gale and I were thrown together by a mutual need to survive, and Peeta and I know that one's survival means our own death. How do you sidestep that? Effie's knocking on the door, reminding me there's another big day ahead tomorrow. Tomorrow night will be our televised interviews. I guess the whole team will have their hands full getting us ready for that. I get up and I take a quick shower, and being a bit more careful about the buttons that I hit this time, I head down to the dining room. Peeta, Effie, and Hamish are all huddled around talking with hushed voices. That seems odd, but hunger wins over curiosity, and I load up my plate with breakfast before I join them. The stew is made with tender chunks of lamb and dried plums today, perfect on the bed of wild rice. I've shoveled about halfway through the mound of food when I realize no one's talking, and then I take a big gulp of orange juice and I wipe my mouth. "So what's going on? You're coaching us on interviews today, right?" "That's right," says Hamish. "You don't have to wait until I'm done. I can listen and I can eat at the same time," I say. "Well, there's been a bit of a change of plans about our current approach," says Hamish. "What's that?" I ask. I'm not sure what our current approach is, so trying to appear mediocre in front of the other tributes, I guess that's a little bit of a strategy, but that's the last one I remember. Hamish just shrugged. "Peeta has been asked to be coached separately." Dun, dun, dun. Peeta has asked to be coached separately, sweetheart. She's smiling about it. She thinks it's sneaky. She likes it. She likes this plan. It's not really fair since he's yeah, it's not fair. What do you think, sweetheart? You think that they should be coached separately? She's not sure. She's understanding the assignment, yes. Yeah. Do you want out for this chapter, or do you want to stay there? Now's a good time to decide before we start the next chapter. Out or in? You look content. You want to stay there for this chapter? Yeah, okay, that's fine. You can stay there for this chapter. All right, chapter 9. Her cold is totally cleared up. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Oh my God, it's been cleared up for about 2 days now. I'm so relieved. I'm glad that she can breathe normally again. She breathes normally as she sleeps again. Everything is fine. She's just making normal baby grunting sounds now, not any kind of like, you know, and we don't have to do snot suckers or anything like that. And she's learning how to suck on her hand. I think she might learn to suck her thumb soon. Who knows? I don't know. She's going like this. Yeah, you can suck on your fingers, honey. That's okay. No one's gonna stop you. She hates pacifiers though. Absolutely hates them. Chapter 9, betrayal. That's the first thing I feel, which is ludicrous. For there to be betrayal, there would have had to be trust first. Between Peeta and me, I mean. And trust is not part of our agreement. We're tributes. The boy who risked beating to give me bread, the one who steadied me in the chariot, who covered for me with the red-headed Avox girl, the one who insisted Hamish know my hunting skills. Was there some part of me that couldn't help but trust him? Your mom made a comment about how I speak. What was it? I hope it was good. Was it a good comment? I want good comments from other people's moms, not bad ones. I hope it's good. On the other hand, I'm relieved that we can stop pretending to be friends. Obviously, whatever thin connection we foolishly formed has been severed now. And high time, too. The games begin in 2 days, and trust will only be a weakness. Whatever triggered Peeta's decision, and I suspect it had to do with me outperforming him in training, I should be nothing but grateful for it. Maybe he's finally accepted that the sooner we openly acknowledge that we're enemies, the better. Good, I say. So what's the schedule then? Well, you'll have 4 hours with Effie for presentation and 4 hours with me for content, says Hamish. You'll start with Effie, Katniss. I can't imagine what Effie will have to teach me that could take 4 hours, but she's got me working down to the last minute. We go to my room and she puts me in a full-length gown and high-heeled shoes. Not the ones that I'll wear for the actual interview, but she instructs me on how to walk in these. The shoes are the worst part. Oh, she fell back asleep. Okay. I've never worn high heels and I can't get used to the essential wobbling around on the balls of my feet, but Effie runs around in them full time and I'm determined if she can do it, so can I. The dress poses another problem. It keeps tangling around my shoes, so of course I hike it up, and then Effie swoops down on me like a hawk and smacks my hands and yells, "No, not above the ankles!" And when I finally conquer walking, they're still sitting. Posture. Apparently I have a tendency to duck my head, eye contact, hand gestures, smiling. Smiling is mostly about smiling more, and Effie makes me take 100 banal phrases starting with a smile when, while smiling, I have to end with smiling. And by lunch, the muscles in my cheeks are twitching from overuse. Thank you, Amanda. Well, that's the best I can do, Effie says with a sigh. Just remember, Katniss, you want the audience to like you. And you don't think they will? I ask. Oh, not if you glare at them the entire time. Why don't you save that for the arena? Instead, think of yourself as among friends, says Effie. They're betting on how long I'll live, I burst out. They're not my friends. Well, try and pretend, snaps Effie, and then she composes herself and beams at me. See, like this. I'm smiling at you right now, even though you're aggravating me. Yes, that does feel very convincing, I say. I'm gonna go eat. I kick off my heels and stomp down to the dining room, hiking up my skirt to my thighs. Peeta and Hamish seem in pretty good mood, so I'm thinking that the content session should be an improvement over the morning session. Oh, don't worry, Amanda, no stress. She's out like a light right now. I couldn't be more wrong. After lunch, Hamish takes me into a sitting room and directs me to the couch, and then he just frowns at me for a while. Does Effie ever not smile? I don't think so. I think she's always smiling because she's always pretending that everyone is her friend. TikTok decided to update Mood Book Club. Ugh, the worst. Not good timing. What? I finally ask. I'm trying to figure out what to do with you, Hamish says. How are we going to present you? Are you going to be charming, aloof, fierce? So far, you're shining like a star. You volunteered to save your sister. Cinna made you look unforgettable. You got the top training score. People are intrigued and no one knows who you are. The impression that you make tomorrow will decide exactly what I can get you in terms of sponsors, says Hamish. If he doesn't smile. That's right, Cinny. Having watched the tribute interviews all my life, I know that there's truth to what he's saying. If you have appealed to the crowd, either by being humorous or brutal or eccentric, you gain favor. All right, what's Peeta's approach? Or am I not allowed to ask that? I say, Likeable. He has sort of like this self-deprecating humor naturally, says Hamish, whereas when you open your mouth, you come across more sullen and hostile. I do not, I say, please. I don't know where you pulled that cheery, wavy girl on the chariot from, but I haven't seen her before or since, says Hamish. And you've given me so many reasons to be cheery, I counter. But you don't have to please me. I'm not going to sponsor you, so pretend I'm the audience, says Hamish. Delight me. Fine, I snarl, and Hamish takes the role of interviewer, and I try to answer his questions with a winning fashion, but I can't. I'm too angry with Hamish for what he said, and I can't even have to answer the questions. All I can think is just how unjust this whole thing is. The Hunger Games, I mean. Why I'm hopping around like some trained dog trying to please people that I hate. Why? The longer that the interview goes on, the more my fury seems to rise to the surface, and I'm literally spitting out answers at him. All right, enough, he says. We've got to find another angle. Not only are you hostile, I don't know anything about you. I've asked you 50 questions, and I have no idea the sense of your life, your family, what you care about. They want to know about you, Katniss, but I don't want them to. They're already taking my future. They can't have the things that matter about my past, too. I say, then lie. Make something up, says Hamish. I'm not good at lying, I say. Well, you better learn how fast. You've got as much charm as a dead slug, says Hamish. Ouch, that hurts. Even Hamish must know that he's being too harsh because his voice softens then. All right, look, here's an idea. Try acting humble. Humble, I echo. That you can't believe a little girl from District 12 has done this well. The whole thing's more than you ever could have dreamed of. Talk about Cinna's clothes, how nice the people here are, how the city amazes you. If you won't talk about yourself, at least compliment the audience. Just keep turning it back around on them. Gush. The next hours agonize me. At once, it's clear that I cannot gush. We try me playing cocky, but I don't have the arrogance. Apparently, I'm too vulnerable for ferocity. I'm not witty, I'm not funny or sexy or mysterious. By the end of the session, I'm no one at all. And Hamish started drinking somewhere around witty, and a nasty edge has crept into his voice. I give up, sweetheart. Just answer the questions and try not to let the audience see how openly you despise them, okay? That's mahogany! I have dinner that night in my room, ordering outrageous numbers of delicacies, eating myself sick, and then taking out my anger at Hamish, at the Hunger Games, at every living being in the capital by smashing the dishes around my room. And when the girl with the red hair comes in to turn down my bed, her eyes are widened at the mess. Just leave it, I yell at her. Just leave it alone. I hate her too, with her knowing and reproachful eyes that call me a coward, a monster, a puppet of the capital, both now and then. For her, justice must finally be happening. At least my death will help pay for the life of the boy in the woods. But instead of fleeing the room, the girl closes the door behind her and goes to the bathroom, and she comes back with a damp cloth and wipes my face gently as she cleans the blood from the broken plates off of my hands. Why is she doing this? And why am I letting her? I should have tried to save you, I whisper to her, and she shakes her head. Does that mean we're right to stand by? That she's forgiven me? No, it was wrong of me, I say, and she taps her lips with her fingers, then points to my chest. I think she means that I just would have ended up as an Avox too. Honestly, I probably would have. Avox are dead. I spent the next hour helping the redheaded girl clean the room, and then the garbage has been dropped down a disposal, and the food's cleaned away, and she turns down my bed, and I crawl in between the sheets like a 5-year-old, and I let her tuck me in, and then she goes. I want her to stay until I fall asleep, to be there when I wake up. I want the protection of this girl, even though she never had mine. And in the morning, it's not the girl but my prep team who are hanging over me. My lessons with Effie and Hamish are over. This day belongs to Cinna. He's my last hope. Maybe he can make me look so wonderful that no one will care what comes out of my mouth. The team works on me until late afternoon, turning my skin of glowing satin, stenciling patterns onto my arms, painting flames on my 20 perfect nails. And then Venia goes to work on my hair, weaving strands of red into a pattern that begins at my left ear and wraps around my head and then falls down in one braid over my right shoulder. They erase my face with a layer of pale makeup and draw my features back out. Huge dark eyes, full red lips, lashes that throw off bits of light when I blink. Finally, they cover my entire body in a powder that makes me shimmer like gold dust. And then Cinna enters with what I assume is my dress, but I can't really see it because it's covered. Close your eyes, he orders, and I can feel the silken inside as they slip it down over my naked body, and then The weight of it. It must be, 40 pounds. I clutch Octavia's hand as I blindly step into my shoes, glad to find that they're at least 2 inches lower than the pair that Effie had me practice in. There's some adjusting and fidgeting, and then silence. Can I open my eyes? I ask them. Yes, says Cinna. Open them. The creature standing before me in the full-length mirror has come from another world, where skin shimmers and eyes flash, and apparently they make clothes from jewels, because my dress is entirely covered in reflective, precious gems, red and yellow and white with bits of blue that accent the tips of my flame design. The slightest movement gives the impression that I am engulfed in tongues of fire. I'm not pretty. I'm not beautiful. I am as radiant as the sun. For a while, we just all stare at me. Oh, Cinna, I finally whisper. Thank you. Twirl for me, he says, and I hold out my arms and I spin in a circle, and the prep team screams in admiration. Cinna dismisses the team, and he has me move around in the dress and shoes, which are infinitely more manageable than Effie's. The dress hangs in such a way that I don't have to lift the skirt when I walk, leaving me with one less thing to worry about. So, all ready for that interview then? Asks Cinna, and I can see by his expression that he's been talking to Hamish, that he knows how dreadful I am. I'm awful. Hamish called me a dead slug. No matter what we tried, I just couldn't do it. I just can't be one of those people that he wants me to be, I say. Cinna thinks about this moment. Why don't you try just being yourself? Myself? That's no good either. Hamish says I'm sullen and hostile. Well, you are. Around Hamish, says Cinna with a grin. I don't find you so. The prep team adores you. You even won over the game makers. As for the citizens of the capital, well, they can't stop talking about you. No one can help but admire your spirit. My spirit? That's a new thought. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it suggests I'm a fighter in a sort of brave kind of way. It's as if I'm never friendly. Okay, well, maybe I don't go around loving everyone that I meet, but maybe smiles are hard to come by. But I do care for some people. Cinna takes my icy hands in his warm ones. Suppose, when you answer questions, you think that you're addressing a friend back home. Who would your best friend be? Asks Cinna. Gale, I say instantly. Only, it doesn't make sense, Cinna. I would never be telling Gale these things about me because he already knows them. All right, what about me? Could you think of me as a friend? Asks Cinna. Of all the people I've ever met since I left home, Cinna is by far my favorite. I liked him right off, as he hasn't disappointed me yet. I do think so, but I'll be sitting on the main platform with the other stylists. You'll be able to look right at me. When you're asked a question, find me and answer it as honestly as possible, says Cinna. Even if what I think is horrible, I ask, because it might be, really. Especially if what you think is horrible, says Cinna. You'll try it. I nod. It's a plan, or at least a straw to grasp at. Too soon, it's time to go, and the interviews take place on a stage constructed in front of the training center. Once I leave my room, it will only be minutes until I'm in front of the crowd, the cameras of Panem. As Cinna turns the doorknob, I stop his hand. Cinna, I'm completely overwhelmed with stage fright. Remember, he says gently, they already love you. Just be yourself. We meet up with the rest of District 12 at the crowd at the... We meet up with the rest of the District 12 crowd at the elevator. Portia and her gang have been hard at work. Peeta looks striking in an all-black suit with flame accents, and while we look well together, it's a relief not to be dressed identically. Hamish and Effie are all fancied up for the occasion. I avoid Hamish, but accept Effie's compliments, and Effie can be tiresome and clueless, but she's not destructive the way that Hamish is. When the elevator doors open, the other tributes are being lined up to take the stage. All 24 of us sit in a big arc throughout the interviews. I'll be last or second to last, since the girl tributes precede the boys from each district. And how I wish I could be first and get the whole thing out of the way, but now I have to listen to how witty and funny and humble and fierce and charming everybody else is before I go up. Plus the audience will start to get bored, just as the game makers did, and I can't exactly shoot an arrow into the crowd to get their attention. Right before we parade onto the stage, Hamish comes up behind Peeta and growls, "Remember, you're still a happy pair, so you need to act like it." What? I thought we abandoned that when Peeta asked for separate coaching, but I guess that was private, not a public thing. Anyway, there's not much of a chance of interacting now, since we walk in a single-filed line to our seats and just take our places. Stepping onto the stage makes my breathing rapid and shallow. I can feel my pulse pounding in my temples, and as it's a relief as I get to my chair. because between the heels and my legs shaking, I'm afraid that I'm going to trip. Although evening is falling, the city circle is brighter than a summer's day. An elevated seating unit has been set up for the prestigious guests, with the stylists commanding the front row. The cameras will turn to them as the crowd when the crowd is reacting to their handiwork. The large balcony off of the building is to the right, and it's been reserved for the game makers. Television crews have claimed most of the other balconies, but the city circle and the avenues that feed into it are completely packed with people, standing room only. At homes and community halls around the country, every television is turned on. Are we in Pan Am right now? What's that sound? Every citizen of Pan Am is tuned in. There will be no blackouts tonight. Caesar Flickerman, the man who has hosted the interviews for more than 40 years, bounces onto the stage. It's a little scary because his appearance is virtually unchanged that time. Some face underneath that coating of pure white same face. He has the same face under that coating of pure white makeup. Same hairstyle that he dyes a different color for each Hunger Games. The same ceremonial suit, midnight blue dotted with thousands of tiny electric bulbs that twinkle like stars. They do surgery in the Capitol to make people appear younger and thinner. In District 12, looking old is something of an achievement since so many people die early. You'll see an elderly person and you'll want to congratulate them on their longevity and ask their secret of survival. A plump person is envied because they aren't scraping by like the majority of us, but here it's different. Wrinkles aren't desirable. A round belly is not a sign of success. This year, Caesar's hair is powder blue and his eyelids and lips are coated in the same hue. He looks freakish, but less frightening than he did last year when the color was crimson and he seemed to be bleeding. Caesar tells a few jokes to warm up the audience, and then he gets down to business. The girl tribute from District 1, looking provocative in a see-through gold gown, steps up to the center stage to join Caesar for the interview. You could tell that her mentor didn't have any trouble coming up with an angle for her. With that flowing blonde hair, emerald green eyes, her tall body, all lush, she's sexy all the way. Each interview only lasts about 3 minutes, and then the buzzer goes off, and the next tribute is up. I'll say this for Caesar, though. He really does do his best to make the tributes shine. He's friendly and tries to set the nervous ones at ease, laughs at the lame jokes, and can turn a weak response into a memorable one with the way that he reacts. I sit like a lady the way that Effie showed me to as the districts slip by. 2, 3, 4. Everyone seems to be playing up some angle. The monstrous boy from District 2 is a ruthless killing machine. The fox-faced girl from District 5 is sly and elusive, and I spot Cinna as soon as he takes his place. But even his presence cannot relax me. 8, 9, 10. I know, I love Stanley Tucci. The crippled boy from District 10 is very quiet. My palms are sweating like crazy, but the jeweled dress isn't absorbent, so they skid right off of me as I try to dry them. 11. Rue, who is dressed in a gossamer gown complete with wings, flutters her way to Caesar. A hush falls over the crowd at the sight of this magical wisp of a tribute. Caesar's very sweet with her, complimenting her 7 in training, an excellent score for someone so small. And when he asks her what her greatest strength in the arena will be, she doesn't hesitate. I'm very hard to catch, she says in a tremulous voice. And if they can't catch me, then they can't kill me, right? So don't count me out yet. I wouldn't in a million years, says Caesar encouragingly. Oh, God. That almost makes me cry. That's so heartbreaking. Ooh. Ooh. That's so rough. Ooh, that's so rough. Sorry, guys. Woo. The boy tribute from District 11, Thresh, has the same dark skin as Rue, but the resemblance stops there. He's one of the giants, probably 6.5 feet tall and built like an ox, and I noticed the rejected invitations from the career tributes to join their crowd. Instead, he's been very solitary, speaking to no one, showing little interest in training. And even so, he scored a 10, and it's not hard to imagine that he impressed the game makers. He ignores Caesar's attempts at banter and answers with a yes or a no, or just remains silent. Me too, Christy. Big time. Bless you. Bless you. If only I was his size, I could get away with being sullen and hostile and I would be just fine. I bet half the sponsors are already considering him. If I had any money, I would bet on him myself. What's wrong, sweetheart? Why are you making that face? You want out? You look like you're about to cry if I don't get you out right now. Okay. Okay. Mommy will get you out before we cry. Let's get out before we cry. Let's get out before we cry, huh? Yeah. We'll get out before we cry. We'll just be happy. We'll be happy with our mommy, huh? Yeah. Okay. If I had any money, I'd bet on him myself. And then they're calling Katniss Everdeen, and I feel myself as if in a dream, standing there just making my way to center stage. I shake Caesar's outstretched hand, and he has the good grace not to immediately wipe it off on his suit. So, Katniss, the capital must be quite a change from District 12 for you. What's impressed you most since you arrived here? Asks Caesar. What? What did he say? It's as if the words made no sense to me. My mouth has gone dry as sawdust. I desperately try to find Cinna in the crowd and lock eyes with him. I imagine the words coming from his lips. What's impressed you most since you arrived here? I rack my brain for something that's made me happy here. Be honest, I think, be honest. The lamb stew, I get out. Caesar laughs, and I vaguely realize that some of the audience has joined in with him. The one with the dried plums? Caesar asks, and I nod. Oh, I eat it by the bucketfuls. He turns sideways to the audience in horror, hand on his stomach. It doesn't show, does it? And they shout reassurance to him, and they applaud. This is what I meant about Caesar. He does try to help you out. Now, Katniss, he says confidently, when you came out in the opening ceremonies, my heart actually stopped. What did you think of that costume? Cinna raises one eyebrow at me. Be honest, he seems to say. You mean after I got over my fear of being burned alive? I ask. Big laugh, a real one from the audience this time. Yes, start then, says Caesar. Cinna, my friend. I should tell him anyway. I thought that Cinna was brilliant, and it was one of the most gorgeous costumes I'd ever seen, and I couldn't believe that I was the one getting to wear it. I can't believe that I'm wearing this either. I lift up my skirt to spread it out. I mean, just look at this. The audience oohs and ahs, and I see Cinna making tiniest circle motions with his finger, but I know what he's saying. He's saying, twirl for me. I spin the circle once, and the reaction is immediate. Oh, do that again, says Caesar. So I lift up my arms and I spin around and let the skirt fly out, letting the dress engulf me in flames, and the audience breaks into cheers. And when I stop, I clutch Caesar's arms. No, don't stop, he says. I have to stop. I'm dizzy. I'm also giggling, which I think I've done maybe never in my lifetime, but the nerves and the spinning have gotten to me, and Caesar wraps a protective arm around me. Don't worry, I've got you. Can't have you following your mentor's footsteps, can we? Everyone's hooting and hollering as the camera finds Hamish, who is by now famous for his head dive at the reaping, and he waves away in a good-naturedly way and points back to me. All right, it's all right. Caesar reassures the crowd. She's safe with me. So, how about that training score? 11. Give us a hint of what happened in there. I glance at the game makers on the balcony and I bite my lip. All I can say is that what I did, I think it was a first. The cameras are right on the game makers, who are chuckling and nodding. You're killing us, said Caesar, as if in actual pain. Details, please, details. I'm on the balcony. I'm sorry, I address the balcony. I'm not supposed to talk about it, right? And the game makers who fell in the punch bowl shouts out at me. She's not. Thank you, I say. Sorry, my lips are sealed. All right, let's go back then to the moment that they called your sister's name at the reaping, says Caesar. His mood is quieter now, and you volunteered. Can you tell us about her? No, not all of you. But maybe I could tell Cinna, I think. I don't think I'm imagining the sadness on his face. Well, her name is Prim, and she's 12, and I love her more than anything. You could hear a pin drop in the city circle now. What did she say to you after the reaping? Caesar asks. Be honest, I swallow hard. She asked me to try really hard to win. The audience is frozen. They're hanging on my every word. And what did you say? Prompts Caesar gently. But instead of warmth, I feel an icy rigidity take over my body. My muscles tense as they do before a kill, and when I speak, my voice seems to have dropped an awkward octave. I swore I would. I bet you did, says Caesar, giving me a squeeze. And then the buzzer goes off. Well, I'm sorry. We're out of time. Best of luck, Katniss Everdeen. Tribute from District 12. The applause continues long after I'm seated, so I look up to Cinna for assurance, and he gives me a thumbs up. I'm still in a daze for the first part of Peeta's interview. He has the audience from the get-go, though. I can hear them laughing, shouting out. He plays up the baker's son thing, comparing the tributes to breads from their districts. This has a funny anecdote about the perils of the capital showers. He tell me, do I still smell like roses? He asks Caesar. And then there's a whole run where they take turns sniffing each other that brings down the house. And I'm coming back into focus when Caesar asks him if he has a girlfriend back home. And Peeta hesitates, giving an unconvincing shake of his head. Aw, come on, a handsome lad like you. There must be some special girl. Come on, what's her name? Says Caesar. Peeta sighs. Well, there's this one girl that I've had a crush on ever since I can remember, but I'm pretty sure she didn't know that I was even alive until the reaping. Sounds of sympathy come from the crowd. Unrequited love, that's something they can relate to. She have another fellow? Asks Caesar. I don't know, but a lot of boys do like her, says Peeta. All right, so here's what... She have another fellow? Asks Caesar. I don't know, but a lot of boys do like her, says Peeta. All right, so here's what you do. You win. You go home. She can't turn you down then, can she? Says Caesar encouragingly. I don't think that's gonna work out. Winning won't really help in my case, says Peeta. Well, why ever not? Says Caesar, mystified. And Peeta blushes, beet red, and stammers out, because she came here with me. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Insane. Such a good book. You guys, I'm not gonna lie, I got full out chills when they were talking to Rue. Like, it just, my whole heart. Ugh, I just can't. Heartbreaking. Yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna go because I have a lot of prep to do. I love Rue too. We all love Rue. I know, such a little nuggie. I have a lot of prep to do before tonight's live. We will be live at 5 p.m. Pacific time for Roll for Slime. I read this before the kids. It does hit differently now. I completely agree. I know, it hurt the first time and it hurts even more now. I'm excited for the chaos too. There's gonna be some weird things happening tonight. I mean, like, there's not like actual April Fools because it would be almost impossible for me to like April Fools you guys in the middle of a slime because I don't know what they're gonna roll, but like there are some funny things. Oh, Rue's lullaby. Oh God, don't break my heart. But I will see you guys tonight for some very, very funny things on the sheets. I promise it's going to be funny. And there's new charms that you guys have never seen before, a whole bunch of them. All right, yes. Oh, you added activator to your stick. Very good. Just add it sparingly. You can be brave. You can do it. You can do it. I know you can. Totally. All right, so I will see you all this evening with some fun and funny for all. Bye, guys.